Hare Krishna. So we have with us His Grace Yogindra Vandana Prabhu, the temple president of New Talawan Farm community here. And right now we're going to do a small interview on the topic of Vaishnava Vedic perspective of sociology and its practical application in the 21st century. And we'll get started. My name is Lakshmi Narsinga Das, and I'll be interviewing His Grace Yogindra Vandana Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I would like to ask you questions on this topic. And the first question is, so what efforts has your community made in the last 2 years to come closer to realizing the self-sufficiency and sustainability?
Okay, since we only have 10 minutes to meet Dr. Raghava Maharaj's needs, I'll read from my phone. Okay, so first, we have put a lot of time and money and manpower effort into growing more food. B, we are moving from conventional construction of timber to block and concrete. C, we have used permacultural methods to put in a 2-acre orchard of fruit trees. D, we have utilized permacultural techniques and modern satellite imagery to discover where on ISKCON's property it is possible to capture the rainwater and hold it in conservation ponds. We have invested time identifying, expanding some conservation ponds into small lakes of 5 to 25 acres. E, we continue to turn Bahia grass pastures, the natural grass that grows on the Gulf Coast of the United States, into Bermuda grass, which is a more nutritional grass. We also are fertilizing the pastures with organic chicken manure rather than synthetic chemicals of nitrogen, potassium, and ash. And there may be more, but that's what comes to mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. What are your thoughts on COVID-19 and its impact on our community and also the world in total?
Well, simply, first of all, cleanliness next to godliness. B, social gatherings for recreation, entertainment, eating can be dangerous. Socially distancing is not a bad thing. C, when traveling, going to the market, meetings, or around people we are not normally around, wearing a mask can help prevent catching disease. D, and more important perhaps, is for people to understand how vulnerable the world is. Therefore, producing healthy food, being around trees, nature, sunshine, fresh air, and clean water are very important for maintaining people's well-being. And practicing Krishna consciousness is vital for the spirit.
Thank you, Prabhu. So my third question would be, what do you think is the contribution of the Vedic sociology to the world in specific, and how it can help the world to become a better place?
Good question. My thoughts on the matter is that Vedic sociology can teach people in general, but all people, including the people that live and come from Hindu culture. It can give us a solid idea about dharma or occupation. and our need to execute our God-given duties in cooperation with the other members of society, the other occupations in society, thus creating harmony within our human society. Also, the Vedic sociological ideas or methods of cow protection, the employment of draft animals, healthy food production, local and national sustainability, good government, science, and corporate labor are essential requirements for the pragmatic well-being of human society. The more they can incorporate these, the better.
Thank you, Prabhu. Do you have any practical suggestions to individuals or communities living in cities or villages in order to tackle the challenges and complexities of the modern times?
That's a profound question, and my answer to it is, I guess, somewhat philosophical. I would say most important is for cleansing of the consciousness of humanity by chanting the Mahamantra and studying Bhagavad Gita as it is, Srimad Bhagavatam by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, and also his Chaitanya Charitamrita, and many other books. Also, cleaning our mind, each individual cleaning their mind by following the above regularly, and especially in the early morning hours. Thus, early to bed, early to rise, rather than taking up so much nighttime for just recreational TV, movie watching, nightclubs, different types of entertainment. Also, humanity can concentrate more on maintaining the physical body, mind, and soul by eating the remnants of food offered to God with love and devotion. That will go a long way to helping the people in the cities as well as the villages. Finally, finding more time to ponder such questions. Simple living and high thinking was Srila Prabhupada's slogan. And that's very important for people in the city or in the village to learn to live more simple and to learn to ponder such questions deeply.
Thank you, Prabhu. So my last question would be, how do you think we can address or combat the global problems in this world like climate change, desertification, loss of habitat, natural habitat, even extinction of species, which is very rampant and it's going at a very faster pace in this modern world. So what are your thoughts on that, how we address and combat that?
Humanity has to learn to take care of the animals, not just the dogs and cats, but all animals, and especially the domesticated draft animals. Furthermore, humanity has to take care of all other species of life in general. We have to become a more non-violent society rather than a society that sanitizes everything by killing it off, practically speaking. And besides the species of life, caring for them, we have to care for Mother Nature. We have to care for our soil, our water, and air by utilizing the most natural and traditional methods available, and return to a localized economy as much as possible, rather than one that depends on so much rapid transportation. And that will go a long way to aiding the different crises that we face. It is also essential, and it's most essential, because none of this is possible without humanity changing its consciousness from material or having a physical, bodily conception of life. Changing that to a spiritual concept, or at least understanding that the life inside every living body is an eternal particle of God, the supreme divine person. And that each of these individual particles are one in quality with God. That is most important to change our consciousness to a theistic consciousness. Otherwise, if we continue to grow more and more atheistic or non-theistic concepts, very impersonal and voidistic concepts of life, then we'll continue to simply degrade others, and just as we've degraded this whole planet. We've messed up the soil, the water, the air. We've drove into extinction so many species of life. All these things have been done by humanity. So it's humanity that has to correct this. And the most proficient, even easiest way to do that is if humanity can learn to change its consciousness and again come to see things on a practical, spiritual level, rather than completely absorbed with a gross materialistic vision. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhakti Raghava Maharaj Ki Jai.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So that concludes our interview with His Grace Yogindra Vandana Prabhu on his thoughts on Vedic sociology and its contribution and how it can help us face the challenges of the modern world. Thank you, and back to the studio. Hare Krishna.